In about 12 days to come, the biggest competition in the continent of Africa will be kickstarting in Abidjan, Ivory Coast, where Ivory Coast, the Elephants, will be playing against Guinea-Bissau. Before I go anywhere, allow me also to wish you all a happy, prosperous, productive, and a more purposeful 2024. May your priorities be made more clear. May you make all the correct decisions. And finally, most importantly, may you follow the proper and right instructions. Very important in your personal life, in your business, in your relationships, in your family life, academics, wherever, every sphere of your life. I go by the name of Afcon Football, where I discuss anything to do with soccer from Africa to the world and from the world to Africa. Well, on this episode, we are discussing the 8 players we need to zoom into and actually look at. African Cup of Nations is not an easy tournament to win, and this year's edition will be no different. Yes, you do have a lot of African players playing in Europe, and they're not even just making numbers in their respective teams, but they are actual stars. Now, soccer is a team sport. Unlike golf and boxing, where the individual decides and determines his fate, with football, they need to work together in reaching a goal of victory. But we have seen many a times that an individual can carry his team and can have that moment of brilliance in taking his team to victory. Now, in this episode, I'm giving you my 8 players that you need to watch out for. Players that can really bring this cup to their home countries. It's 8 players from 8 different nations, and it's a balance of flair, steel, and poachers. We all know strikers will always make the news because they score goals. And on this list, I think I only have like 3 attacking players or 4 attacking players, and the others are defensive midfielders and some defenders. I go by the name of Afcon Football. Thank you for tuning into this episode. Give me your players that you think will decide and will be brilliant for their respective country. Yes, and without any waste of time and in no particular order, the first person comes from Morocco. Obviously, there's many players, and I think Morocco has a point to prove. They want to prove to everyone why they were Qatar World Cup semi-finalist. You have Steel and a Rock in Jabrani, who plays for Wydad Casablanca. You have Hakimi, who is probably the best right back in the world, playing for PSG. You have Yves, the lanky striker that plays in Spain for Sevilla. But I think one player that has got a point to prove to Chelsea, to England, and a lot of doubters, he's currently playing in the Turkish Super League, playing for Galatasaray. I'm talking about Hakim Ziyech. Ziyech is got a lot to prove. He's a skillful player, and defensively, Morocco was one of the best sides in the World Cup. And but going forward, obviously in the group they are in, I think it's Tanzania and I know who else. They will have to take the game to the opponents, unlike in the World Cup where they were playing against superior sides, where they were, consuming a lot of pressure and playing on a counter. This time around it will be different. They need to go to the opponent, and Ziyech will be instrumental. Skillful, giving him a free role will ensure that he can take shots out of the box. He can whip in some vicious crosses to your Yusuf and the other strikers that they have, mostly tall. So Ziyech he's got a lot to prove, but he is still a skillful player. He played his best football in Netherlands for Ajax Amsterdam. So this tournament for Morocco, the Atlas Lions, Ziyech, my brother, you've got a lot to prove. The second player, I'm really excited to see what he's going to bring for his nation is coming from Ghana, the Black Stars. Now, Ghana, it cannot get worse than how they were booted out in Afcon 2021. So they really need to improve from that. Chris Hughton has announced his squad. The player I'm about to mention is playing in the English Premier League for West Ham. And obviously, Ghana, he's not the only big boy there. You have the Iobi brothers who've played for Ghana for some time, so they will bring in the experience. You have Inaki Williams. I think he's still playing for Atletico Bilbao. And but the player that will come with high expectations from his countrymen is Mohammed Kudus, who has been excellent, absolutely brilliant for West Ham. I'm really hoping that he's going to step up and really do wonders for the Black Stars. And obviously, a lot of my Ghanaian friends, comments on YouTube, the Ghana football lovers are not happy with their federation. They're complaining of corruption, of favoritism, and they're not even happy with Chris Hughton, the English coach. So we'll have to wait and see how things will go about in this tournament. Games coming to this tournament have not been convincing. We'll have to wait and see how the Black Stars will do in this tournament. But Mohammed Kudus, as an attacking forward, is brilliant. He can play in the left wing, right wing. He can play in the middle as a false nine. He's got a ridiculous amount of pace. And obviously, this is all dependent sometimes on how flexible tactically a coach is, because how he plays for West Ham is that he's mostly used as he's brilliant for them in that counter-attacking principle that the coach is using at West Ham. So how things will be at Ghana, obviously things will be different. But I'm excited for Kudus. I really want him to do well. I want Ghana to do well because they've got big players. The third player on the list, you know what? A lot of people don't give credit or really follow the Bundesliga. We have some African pit bulls playing in that league, and in this 8-player list, we've got 2 players playing in the Bundesliga. This is the first one. He's playing for Nigeria. With Nigeria, the eyes will be on Iobi, who plays for Fulham, Victor Osimhen, who just won the Footballer of the Year, Victor Osimhen, who plays for Napoli. I mean, Nigeria is a galaxy of stars. And there's someone who said, I don't know why I heard this, but this person said he's from Nigeria, and he's also not convinced about Nigeria going into this tournament. He said Nigeria is a galaxy of stars, but they are not a team. I don't know if Nigerians will disagree or agree with their countrymen. That is not me. One of your fellow countrymen who said that it's just individualism with the Super Eagles, but they don't really play as a team. I don't know what will change. They even brought back that old man, is it Ahmed Musa? Yeah, Ahmed Musa, I think currently is playing in Turkey. He's back in the squad, and they've got a Portuguese coach. We'll have to wait and see. But the player I want to talk about is a Nigerian pitbull playing for Xavi Alonso's Bayer Leverkusen. He's been brilliant. I'm talking about Boniface. I mean, that attacking forward of Super Eagles. It will be crazy how teams will deal with Victor Osimhen, Boniface, Iobi. It's just talent everywhere. Iheanacho, I don't know who's going to start. I don't know who's going to be benched. Are they going to bench Musa? The last time I watched Musa, he had an electrifying pace. So I don't know how things have changed because the guy is older now. So Boniface, a player to watch out. Plays for Bayer Leverkusen. absolutely brilliant. Scores goals, and I don't think he will be at Bayer Leverkusen come end of the season. In fact, some of the players that are on this list, 50% of them might not actually go back to their teams after Afcon, considering that the transfer window is open. Some of the players might actually be bought by big players and big teams. I don't know how things might work with a Boniface, because I think they're in UEFA Champions League or Europa, and obviously a team that's in the same competition he cannot play for, so he might actually move to a new team come the European summer. The fourth player on the list that we must watch out for, and I believe, well, I was a bit biased with these ones because I'm saying a fourth player, but it's actually two players who are playing for the same team. They are the only players coming from the continent of Africa. Everyone else is coming from Europe on this 8 players to watch out for. And these are two players playing for Mamelodi Sundowns. South Africans, it is Tebogo Mokoena, who is a box-to-box midfielder. He's got an engine for days. And we have probably the best right back in the African continent currently. Obviously, this is outside Hakim, who plays for PSG. Just talking about the inter-club competition. This is Kudus Mudao, who plays for Mamelodi Sundowns. These are two players who are going to be instrumental for Bafana Bafana. Obviously, a lot of people, when they look at Bafana or South Africa, they'll be zooming into Pesitao, who won the Interclub Player of the Year. But outside him, these two guys, they will decide a lot of things. And I'm pretty sure that one of them, if not two, but if not both, they will actually leave Sundowns in this transfer window. Tebogo Mokoena, brilliant midfielder, box-to-box. He's got some accurate javelin passes. He can take shots outside goal. He's a brilliant set-piece taker. And you have Kudus Mudao, the best right back on the continent. He will run. He's as fit as a horse. So I was a bit biased when it came to this fourth player or players, in that I actually gave you two, but they play for the same team in Mamelodi Sundowns, and they are also playing for Bafana South Africa. And we are going now to number 5. Now, number 5 is the Senegalese. The Lions of Taranga, they are the defending champions. And they've got a solid team. They have, a solid team. They're even a Koyate, even in this day and age, he's still performing for, I think he's playing for Crystal Palace. You can't write away Sadio Mane simply because he's playing in the Saudi professional league. Sadio Mane is a top shelf player. You have Koulibaly also playing in the Saudi professional league. You have Edouard Mendy also playing in the same league. But all of these individuals, they are top professionals, top players. But the player I've selected that we all need to watch out for is not an attacker, he's not a defender, but he is a steal that is going to be necessary to balance things and neutralize things and actually help your type of players like Sadio Mane and Nicholas Jackson, who plays for Chelsea, to be free and actually kill the games. I am talking about Idris Gueye, who plays for Everton. The guy also played for PSG some time ago. Solid defensive midfielder, and he does his job. And when you look at him, he doesn't look that strong, but come game time, he's not scared to go into the tackles, and the interceptions he makes every game for Everton, the number of balls he wins, the overturns from the same guy is excellent for any team. So he'll be instrumental for Sisa and the Lions of Taranga, Senegal. Number 6 rather. This is a small boy, Issa Kabora, who plays for Burkina Faso. This is a future successor of Kyle Walker. He's currently playing for Luton Town, but he's a loan from Man City. He's a right back as well. This is actually a second right back on the list. He's a right back as well, playing for Burkina Faso. Absolutely excellent. And at Luton Town, they're using him more as a right wing back. They've got a right back and a right wing back, how they play at Luton Town. And then the boy, he's excellent. I mean, if someone is deemed to be a successor of Kyle White, then that player is really special. He is going to be big, obviously, for Burkina Faso. Burkina Faso, when it comes to Afcon, they always do well. They are not spoken a lot about, but they always do well when it comes to Afcon competition. You really hear that they were kicked out in group stages, but they always reach your semi-final and your quarterfinals. And this year, maybe they might actually want to go as far as the final. And I know it's tough. It's going to be tough. Number 7. Another criminally underrated player who plays in the English Premier League for Tottenham Hotspur is Yves Bissouma, another defensive midfielder. He is excellent. How he plays for Tottenham is actually different how he plays for Mali. For Tottenham, he's more of a protecting the last 2 or the last 3. But for Mali, he plays more as a box-to-box. You see more skills when he's playing for Mali than the more conservative type of a player he is for Tottenham Hotspur. So Yves Bissouma is another one, criminally underrated defensive midfielder to look out for Mali. Mali have got a lot of players playing in France, and decent players, good players. So this competition, you can just tell it is going to be tough. Out of the countries I've mentioned here, maybe the one that is not even on the list for favorites is Bafana. And you don't blame players, because South Africa doesn't have a lot of players playing in Europe. Anyway, last but not least, a player coming from Guinea. He plays in Bundesliga. He is captain by one who won the league in the English Premier League in 2019-2020. I'm talking about, what's his name again? Oh man, how can I forget? Keita. And he was a trusted soldier of Jurgen Klopp in that 3-man midfield of Fabinho, Henderson, and him, the Guinea guy. But the player that we all need to watch out for in this tournament, and I don't think he'll be playing for Stuttgart come end of this season, is Sehoy Guirassy. Guirassy, I think, is just behind Harry Kane currently in the Bundesliga. Is one of the leading goal scorers there. For the guy's size, he's got an extraordinary agility. I mean, the guy is tall, he's big. So obviously, to deal with such a player, you just need to deal with the supply. When Guinea plays, deal with the supply. Suffer Guirassy from the supply, because anything you give to him, whether in the box or a true pass, be rest assured it is a save or a post, or it's going to hit the post, or it's going to be a goal. He's an excellent player. This one is guaranteed to play in the English Premier League. I don't think he's going to play in Spain. He's either going to go to Serie A, Italy, or is definitely heading for the English Premier League. So those are the 8 players that I think that we really need to watch out for. They'll do well. They'll perform well. Obviously, this will be dependent on the nations they're playing against and how well they gel with their teammates. Because as much as it's they are great individuals, but they still need to do well with their teammates. Thank you so much for staying this long. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like, give me your comment on what you think about this episode. Share this with your friends on all other platforms. I really appreciate your support and your engagements, and may my God bless you all.